When it comes to Hatfields and sneakers, everybody knows Tinker Hatfield, but do we know Toby Hatfield? Because he's the big mover and shaker behind the FlyEase line. Now, I did a particular video about these guys already with an Air Jordan 1, and it was all about making those shoes more accessible to people who maybe wouldn't be able to fit sneakers or wear sneakers for particular reasons. And then here we are, we fast forward about 2 years, and we're getting into these FlyEase Go. And of course, I'm thinking, you know, maybe that's to do with people who are disabled or people who aren't able to access shoes and things like that. But then I realized, man alive, revelation, these guys are going to be huge in Japan for a totally different reason. And that got me thinking. I thought, you know what? It's not about the legs. It's about the arms. So let's get into this and take a look at all of that as we get into this upcoming release of the Nike Go FlyEase. This is the Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel des.毎日アップするので、毎日見てください. And every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today, what we've got in the spotlight is the upcoming release of the Nike FlyEase Go, Nike Go FlyEase. And it's all about making these shoes accessible. Now, I told you about Tinker Hatfield and Toby Hatfield. If anyone out there doesn't know who Tinker Hatfield is, we're talking Jordan 3 through 15, some of the most iconic sneakers of all time. Air Max, early Air Maxes like the Air Max 1, the Air Max 90, very iconic shoes. This is Tinker. This is sneaker design heaven. We're talking the very top drawer. And Tinker Hatfield's brother, Toby Hatfield, now he came on board with Nike some years ago. He's been around for a while, and then this FlyEase concept has come from him about getting shoes, making shoes accessible. If we go back to those Air Jordan 1s, a classic design, but certain people with certain issues, perhaps disability issues or accessibility issues, couldn't get their feet into these shoes if they were laced up as normal. So here we are with this unique way of putting the shoe on the foot, and it's all about that accessibility. That's what Toby Hatfield's deal is, that's what the FlyEase deal is, and then we get to these guys today. Now, I said at the start of this video there will be two things to focus on. One is how these will revolutionize shoes in Japan, and two, it's about the arms and not the legs. So let's get into that Japanese side. First, here I am in Tokyo, Japan, doing sneaker videos every single day for you guys out there. And this one, the reason it's big here is, I don't know if you guys know this now, I grew up in Scotland, and basically it's the land of carpets. You wear carpets, you have carpets in your house, carpets everywhere, carpets in the living room, carpets on the stairs, carpets in the bedroom, all fitted wall to wall, that kind of stuff. And we wore shoes indoors all the time. And of course, there you had your parents ragging on you when you dragged mud into the house. Get those dirty shoes out of here, sort of thing. So it's into the culture. It's right in there that the shoes stay on, and it's unusual for people to take shoes off indoors in the UK. Totally opposite here in Japan. Like, I feel uncomfortable if I'm wearing shoes indoors now that I've been here so long. It's an automatic thing. You take your shoes off at the door. You go to visit somebody's house, you're in your own house, shoes off at the door, leave them at the door, wear slippers or go barefoot or just socks in the house. So if you think about that, if you think about how it's built into the culture of Japan to take shoes off, put shoes on quickly, these shoes are going to be huge. If you can just quickly go click, click on, click, click off, but they fit snug and they do exactly what you want a pair of sneakers to do. And it's not just a pair of slip-ons. You're not destroying the heel section every time you put the shoe on and take the shoe off. And that's why I think these guys are going to be huge in Japan. And I think that is going to be the very first crossover appeal of the FlyEase line. The FlyEase line has always been about specific people and specific groups in society needing better access, literally and metaphorically, to sneakers. But now these guys, these Go FlyEase, are going to have that crossover appeal, because just anybody, you come home with a bunch of shopping or something like that, carrying a baby and like a work bag, whatever, your hands are full, and all you need to do is slip the shoe off, and equally slipping the shoe on when you can't bend down or tie the laces and things like that. So this is a great shoe from that point of view. It's really important for here in Japan. And then the second part of that is that I said it's about the arms, about the legs. Maybe in an absolute fool, I thought that what was going on with the FlyEase line was about people whose legs were maybe not working as well as they should. For some reason, they can't fit their feet into shoes. shoes, but then I realized looking at these guys, it's not about the feet, it's about arms and hands, that maybe somebody doesn't have the ability in their fingers or their arms anymore to get down. Maybe it's a back issue, can't get down and tie laces or get shoes onto their feet in the way that they would really want to. So it's about people who have issues with accessing shoes with their arms. I'm such a fool for thinking it was just about the legs. So they're the two things I want to sort of get into in the video before we get into the shoe itself. That whole Japanese culture element, that these shoes are going to be absolutely enormous out here, and in any other culture there is a big take your shoes off at the door culture, but also that element of you know, the people who have issues with their upper body, not their lower body, and making shoes and sneakers. And to be honest, I think these are cool. I think they look absolutely fire. They're a great looking shoe, even down to the materials. If we zoom in on the materials, hopefully the green screen's working out for me today. Not sure if it is or not, and if it isn't, I totally apologize for that. But you know, if you check it out here, hopefully you're able to see that mesh feel on the toe box of the black pair especially. There's two pairs that I've seen. I call one the black pair, and then we'll flip it out to the other one, which is, I call it the yellow pair. There's also a secret, hidden, maybe possibly hinted at blue pair as well. So a third pair, but I've got lots you know, of information about that yellow pair and that black pair, and especially going back to that mesh on the toe box of the black pair. You can see what the materials are and what the upper is made of, but it looks sleek and it looks very clean, and it goes really well with that midsole, and that's what we need to look at for the rest of this video. Is all about that midsole and the outsole and the super incredible technology that's gone into that, because the midsole is one single unit, but the outsole is two separate units hinged together, and that working is unbelievable. Because what you'd expect to happen is, if you're hinging the outsole up and down like this all the time, is the midsole will deteriorate in a minute, and that shoe will be absolutely useless to you after just a few times wearing the shoes, because you've basically destroyed the midsole with all that flexing. All that's out the window here, because the technology is there to sustain the midsole, even though it's getting that kind of stress and that kind of pull back and forward on the shoe. So that's an incredible piece of technology, and one of the main parts why this hands-free shoe works. But the other part of that is being able to have a stable outsole that is hinged but doesn't perform like it's hinged. And hopefully what we're able to see in the green screen behind me here is some elements of that, and you'll be able to be tracking behind me here that midsole that stays as a unit regardless of when the outsole is in the locked position or in the open position. The midsole staying intact, but then that outsole itself being hinged like that. That's the big deal on these shoes. But more than that, on the outsole and the midsole to a certain extent, is if you go to the back of the shoes, that's not design, that's not like the Sakai. What was it, the Sakai's that had that big thing coming at the back? There was another one as well. It was the wall, something, that's going to escape me, the something wall that had a huge chunk on the back. This isn't about, you know, design and coolness. This is functionality. That's where you put your foot to push down on, to click the outsole into the open position and slide your foot out, slide your foot in again, and just push down and click it back into its position. But without that give on the back, it's not a give really, it's that point on the back that you can put the pressure on with your other foot so that you can release the hinge in the middle of the outsole. This wouldn't work. So it's all about that outsole, it's all about that midsole, it's all about the technology to retain and not have a midsole deteriorate over time, all about the technology that's in that hinge effect that goes from open to close, and of course on that back end where it's like the fulcrum or the crowbar, if you like, that gives you the leverage to make that mid outsole hinge work. And on top of all of that, this beautiful shoe. These guys are really cool shoes. I reckon, I'm pretty sure that if you were wearing these shoes, nobody would know they were FlyEase. Nobody would look at them and think, oh wow, that's a FlyEase shoe. That was one of the issues with some of the earlier ones. If we go back to those Jordan 1s, with the way that the construct up on the high part of the heel looked, you could tell it was a FlyEase shoe and it wasn't an original Jordan 1. But on these guys, on these Nike Go, these Nike Go's, you can't really tell about the FlyEase element of it, and that for me is the major selling point in this shoe, and that's why I think they're going to have crossover appeal. So I say, you know, there's a lot of stories in the press right now about GameStop, I think it is, and selling short and all that kind of stuff. These guys do not sell short. Buy. These guys are going to be huge and hot. I think this is going to be a great shoe, and it could be one of those shoes that people look back on and be like, do you remember the very first one of those? This is it, the Nike Go FlyEase, the very first one. Great shoe, great technology. technology. Great that it's accessible to certain people who wouldn't normally have this kind of shoe be accessible to them, but also the crossover appeal. And that's enough for me today, guys. Just checking in and getting that video to you guys. Hope you appreciate it. Yesterday it was the Jordan 3s, today the FlyEase, the Nike Go FlyEase, and then tomorrow we've got that, it's the Air Max 90 mashup with the Vapor Max and the Air Max 96 2s. A crazy, I'm not even going to get into it. Just check out tomorrow's video, something well worth checking in for. For now though, it's time for me to sign off. Thank you guys for checking out the content, and I'll remind you that I do this every single day, so that means you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.